all honor and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahashem Hamasai, Bahashem Kahakodash. I also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone Well, as well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David D. Levi. All right, today I want to go into a topic. Just going into different, various things that was on my spirit. But what I wanted to speak on was how the majority of the things that Esau puts on the shelf in regards to health is poison. Okay? The majority of the things that Esau puts on the shelf in regards to health is poison, man. Okay? And what do I mean by that? And, if you go into the different accounts in the scriptures, right? If you put it all together, all right, from the time before the flood, where people was basically fruitarian, to after the flood, we had animals that we were permitted to eat, right? Right. From the time of Yahweh feeding the masses with fish, an important occupation in the ancient world was beneficial. So those things, then you go into the diet with King Solomon, his daily portion. It's like ox and beef and, and you put all those things together, man. Then you fast forward to this documentary called The Magic Pill. And in The Magic Pill, it tells you how the Aboriginals of Australia, before the so-called white man came along, they were largely eating fruit. No, let me take that back. They were largely eating fish. I think they were eating berries in the woods. That was like the majority of their diet, like fish, maybe nuts and seeds. And you see a picture of them, if you Google Aboriginals of Australia in like the 1970s, they look extremely fit. Then you look up a documentary on the Iroquois Indian, all right, and there's a documentary that goes into food sovereignty. And the Iroquois Indians, which are, I believe, the so-called Native Americans, which are Gad according to the scriptures, they'll tell you that before, they were forced to eat how the so-called white man made them eat, before they went into those concentration camps. All right, they were eating bison. They were eating wild caught salmon. All right, on the Pacific coast. Okay, so this is food that people ate before the industrialization of food. All right, before the so-called white man put his dirty ass hands inside your kitchen, they got you, they altered how you ate. So before, and this is spoken on in the documentary The Magic Pill, when it comes to the so-called Aboriginals, which are the sons of Japhet. But before the 80s, before they started to take in commercial American food, they was eating like fish, I want to say nuts, berries, but everybody was fit. And if you look at Gad, right, because Gad, they have a really high rate in diabetes, high blood pressure too. But before Esau got involved, they were eating, depending on what part of America they lived in, they were eating that bison, that fish. If you go to a farmer's market, right, and you're looking at the seasonal vegetables, the seasonal fruit, I believe that's largely what Gad ate. The squash, the pumpkin. All right, this is produce that is produced from the earth around autumn, around harvest. Okay, but when Gad ate like this, then you read the accounts how you had the eagle warriors, and Gad could just run for literally miles, hundreds of miles. But Esau knew what he was doing, because in a documentary, The Magic Pill, you basically, in 1948, they showed you that they had researchers to come and visit the Aboriginals, so-called Aboriginals in Australia in 1940. Think of that year, right? And they did research on the natives in Australia on how they ate. Then what, like 30 years later, they flood them with commercial standard American food. Now everybody is sick. It's no coincidence, man. So in 1948, you sent some scientists to the Aboriginals of Australia to research how they ate. And like 30 some odd years later, you flood them with chemicals, basically. You know. Now, GAD, they do the same thing as the Aboriginals of Australia. They feed their children commercial products because they think that's how they show them love. But that's not only just something that GAD does. All right, 1 second. That's not only something that GAD does, man. Our families do that. Our families, they feed your children McDonald's because it's convenient, it's cheap, and this is what's been promoted to them, right? You feed them McDonald's, you feed them this colorful, sweet candy full of additives, food dyes, but now they're all over the place, and the teachers are frustrated because they can't sit down in one place. All right. So by the time our children are young, they're sugar junkies. All right, they're overweight. Tell me I'm lying. They might be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight. And they might be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Because they're sad druggies, man. Standard American diet druggies. All right, so the same thing. So basically, you have the Israelites or just the native people on the planet, and they ate food that was native to their land. They knew what to eat and what not to eat. Then along came this infectious demon called Esau that not only brought infections, right? He switched their diets up, man. So now, when the average Israelite, especially that's low income, goes to the store, it's a very great chance they're going to purchase bullshit. See, once you go, if you go fruitarian, all right, you go plant-based, whole food, plant-based. If you were to go keto, if you were to go carnivore, even if you were to go Mediterranean, you will realize once you restrict yourself, so to speak, to that way of eating, you will realize how much so-called food you cannot eat. You see? Once you restrict yourself to that way of eating, you'll realize, man, most of the stuff that's inside the store, I can't buy this stuff, I can't eat this stuff. It's junk, it's garbage. You know? It's garbage, man. You go down the chip aisle, go down the candy aisle, go down the frozen dinner aisle, just go down most aisles in the grocery stores, like, bro, I can't eat most of this shit. And even things with like nuts, seeds, and whatever, a lot of times they add sugar to it to make it more satisfying to the taste buds, man. All right? But once again, you know, when you go into the ancient world, you go into the scriptures, it tells you, and you just extract from different accounts. It says Esau was a cunning hunter. Isaac told his boy Esau, go get him a kill, so we could have some what you call it, Vincent. I'm sorry, so you can have some Vincent. All right, some stew, some soup. All right, but that came from something he got from the wild. There was no corporations in the ancient world. There was no McDonald's in the ancient world. There was no grocery store in the ancient world. We had food markets, farmers markets. You see, but everything was fresh from the earth. And in my journey of health, going on different diets, seeing how my body reacted to different things over time, over the past few years, you realize a lot of this shit is rooted in not having chemicals in your diet, just eating a whole food diet, eating things straight from your source, as opposed to something that's prepackaged or is injected with additives. All right, like wheat is messed up. The elders go into that. Dr. Bobby Price went into like how wheat is now basically it's been modified genetically, you know. But I mean, that's pretty much the point, man. This man, this infectious devil, whom the world calls a so-called white man, he came and tainted the natural way. Or every people that's on the people that live on this land for hundreds of years, for thousands of years, they know what foods to eat on that land. They didn't need researchers. They didn't need scientists. All right, they didn't need Esau to interfere with how they ate in their lifestyle. All right, if Esau was really concerned about health, there would be no fast food restaurants. There would be no processed food inside of these stores. There would be no intensive commercial farming. There would be no genetically modified organisms. There would be none of these things, man. There would be no kill Bill Gates, man. None of those things, man. The earth in its natural state is the best state to be in. The earth is medicine. Okay, our bodies are from the earth. So the thing your body needs is directly from the earth. It doesn't need the corporations, man. You need the farmer, you need the butcher, all right, to get it, broken down to where you can cook it. But all this fast food shit, it really goes back to the Roman Empire. See? But I hope this lesson was of edification. That's pretty much the point, man. All right, but with that, I hope this was of edification. Once again, I want to give all the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hawashai, Bahashem, Hakadosh. I also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Well, peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. Bahama Baal, Kum Yashua, Shalom.